in case there's anyone that couldn't be here and wants to review it later. So I am recording. So you can not share your video if you're comfortable, or share your video if you're comfortable, whatever you feel like doing. So let's get started. I'm a nosy person and I want to know everyone's student position. I know, Alex, you got a room full of people, so you kind of divide up in the chat however you want to do that. So in the chat, drop to me, what is your student role position? Do we have presidents in here, secretaries, communications? I know all different titles are different. So who are in here? Where are you coming from? Are you also on the East Coast? What school are you from? So feel free, use the chat, and I'd love to hear everyone. And so while you all are writing in the chat, and this also helps all the rest of the peers know where you all are coming from, so you all can connect later. Oh, we have an advisor in the house, fellow advisor, welcome, nice. Freshman senator, very welcome. So while everyone's doing that, I'll let you know a little bit about myself. So I've worked at, surprise, WSU Global Campus for almost 10 years. I've advised their student government for almost 6 years now. I am lucky enough that even though I am advising our online student government, WSU actually has 6 campuses in which they all have student government, and we all work together. So I actually also have experience working with those student governments on the physical campus. So, so what I'm telling you today, what I'm teaching you really does go with anybody, whether you are student government online or on a physical campus. Communication is important. And fun fact, ASWSUG, which is what we call our student government, was the first fully online student government in the United States. And we were actually founders of ASGA. So that's a fun little fact. Our student government is turning 30 on 2028. So we're really excited, about to be 30 years old. Whoop, whoop. So I'm excited today. I love talking about communication. It's so important. Like I said, whether you're on a traditional campus or online, these tools should be helpful. Okay, look, I'm looking at more people. We have Illinois, nice. Florida, a lot of Florida people. Love my Florida people. I hope you are nice and warm right now. Okay, moving forward. So we're gonna make this engaging. Y'all have a long day. Oh, it's cold there? Yuck. Well, hopefully you can get some warm vibes going. So I know this is a long day and you're going to be talked at a lot. So please feel free to use your emojis. If you want to unmute and talk and ask a question, feel free. So yes, I want you all to feel engaged and not talked at. I'm also going to do some polls to kind of get our feelings and get our senses and see where everyone's at. As I mentioned, you're welcome to have your camera on or off. You can even be an avatar if you want. We actually have students that attend our clubs as an avatar because that's how they're comfortable. And so we have a cat avatar that attends. So however you want to participate today, this is an open and welcome space. So I welcome you to participate however. Okay, perfect. So moving along. Speaking of that, does anyone have any questions or thoughts as we're moving forward? Am I going too fast? I'm a fast talker too, so you can slow me down at any time. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's start with the poll. So what is here it is. Does everyone see it now? So when it comes to communication in your leadership role, where do you feel the most challenged right now? Is it missing those deadlines? Is it too many communication tools? I know for my students, it's like, where did I get that message? Was it Teams? Was it email? Was it? Is it lack of follow through, low engagement or response, or other? Whoa, there's like an unanimous thing going on right here. Okay, so 5 of us have answered so far. Let's give it a little bit of time for a little bit more people. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. So everyone has done it. So I'm going to share the results. So yeah, it looks like most of you, your challenge is low engagement or response and too many communication tools. So I totally get that. So if you take a look, none of this is really about y'all's effort. It's really about clarity, visibility, and consistency. And I get you with that low engagement, and I'm hoping some of my advice will help you today. And just a little where I came from, when I first took over student involvement, our engagement level was about 1 or 2 students online. Our registration was about a third. So however many registered, only third of those people showed up. Right now, we are averaging about 10 students a event, and our registration is about 3/4, if not sometimes complete. So we have really increased our efforts, and it has really shown on engagement across the board. So I'm not just speaking things. Really, it really does work. All the tools that I'm suggesting. Okay, so moving forward. So yeah, we're going to tackle a few areas from tools and strategies, how your values show up in the way you communicate. I'm really going to try to keep this practical. These are just little shifts, okay? Like small system level choices that you all can make that will help build confidence and reduce confusion. And I will share my LinkedIn information at the end of this. Please feel free to connect with me. Please feel free to come back and say, Andrew, that really worked, or Andrew, that really did not work. I love to hear feedback because that's how I learn is through you all. What has worked, what doesn't work. I'm very focused on the students. So please feel free. If you want to connect with me, go right ahead. I love it. So we're going to keep going. Oops. Yes, already did that. There we go. So, communication breakdowns. This is when the things fall apart, right? When you have your missed deadlines, as we were talking about, low engagement. It's people being ghosted. This is so disheartening. And you are all not alone when you are feeling this way. Many of these issues are really about your effort and well, I'm sorry. Whew, many of these aren't about your effort. They're about the structure. Sorry, I have way too many screens on here, and so I'm going all over the place. And so think about that. When you get an email that isn't clearly defined, there's no clear deadlines. How do you feel? So when you are communicating with your team, think about that feeling. Is this going to leave this person that you're emailing this communications to them? Are they going to feel, oh, yes, awesome. I know exactly what they're asking me. Or are they going to feel lost and confused? So always put yourself in those shoes and try to alleviate any of those negative feelings. Okay, does anyone have any questions or anything as so far? Or any like, hey, Andrew, I really have this issue. Okay, we all have time. We'll trust all of that. So I will keep going. Okay, so I want to introduce you. This is really new. This isn't a how or like a tool, but this is a how. This is a framework of communication. So aloha comes from the work of Dr. Jerry Alba Tunnel. And she teaches that aloha means not just a greeting, but sharing the breath of life through dialogue. It is deeply rooted in intentional listening and leadership, and it is perfect for the intentional student government. Because this isn't just about being nice, this is a practice. You are asking questions before you are assuming the answer. Don't assume, oh, this student is just mad because of this. Ask those questions. Make sure. Listen. Listen fully. Don't listen without judgment. And that is a big one, right? Because again, you might listening, oh, I bet this student's just doing this. I'm going to listen to see I'm right. No, you're listening to respond. You are not listening out of curiosity. You are not listening with no judgment. So really try to practice that and observe. Observe the energy in the room. This is the part of where what's not being said. Is this one person always really quiet? Is this one person maybe having body signals of irritation? What's not being said? So observe that as well. Um, and speak from the heart. So the heart is really where you're taking a moment to be like, okay, I need to take a deep breath. Where is my authentic self? Where is my beliefs? Where is this student coming from or this teammate coming from? And this is the moment where you really sit back and you try to listen with your heart. And then you adapt. This is where the things shift. This is where collaborations come into play, and you're really adapting so that you both can get the goal met. So this really moves your team out of reaction mode and into an intentional leadership. We're really excited about Aloha over here at WSU. This principal is Dr. G. She is actually a WSU alumni. And so she is going to start teaching our students an Aloha program just about this. So it's kind of another leadership program that we're adding as an opportunity for our students at WSU. So we're really excited about this whole framework. Does anyone have any questions about this? And I have a handout that's also available in the downloads, and it has all of her information as well. An incredible speaker. I highly recommend. She even has a children's book that I don't have handy right now that also talks about the Aloha principles. So really, really impactful. Okay, so moving on, and we're doing good on time. Perfect. So, okay, now, communication. So I'm going to do another poll. Let's see. Um, and launch. There we go. So which communication tools is your team currently using? And you should be able to select all that apply. I think I allowed this to be a multiple choice. So are you using email? I'm sure that's probably a big primary one. Are you doing Slack? Does everyone see the poll? Is everyone accessible to? Okay, perfect. Yes, you are. Shared calendars like Outlook or Google, group chats, project management tools, Canvas. Okay. Oh, wow. We're kind of all over the place. I see where our big heavy things are. Perfect. I'm going to let everyone have one more time when one more person's trying to figure it out. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to share these results. So yeah, so everyone uses email. And let me tell you, I bet everyone also hates their email inbox at times. They don't want to read it. It gets really full, and your students are probably feeling the same way. So that might not be the best communication at times. So I understand that can cause some frustration. Slack and Teams is pretty there used, as well as shared calendars. Wow, y'all are doing great. So group chats. So no one's really using any project management tools. That's understandable. That's more at a staff level. Okay. Okay. Other. I'd be curious. Anyone want to mention what an other is? I'd love to know. If you'd like to share, you can unmute or you can put it in the chat. If not, no worries. But I am curious what your other is. Maybe it's something I want to do. Okay. So yeah, so communication isn't just about tone. It's about the tools. And so when student governments have the systems that support clarity, follow through, it frees up space for deeper connection and impact. So yeah, no one wanted to share the tools. That's fine. No worries. So let's move on then. Perfect. Okay. Everyone's quiet. That's fine. No worries. I can fill up a void and talk, talk, talk. Okay. Communicating with clarity. So clarity isn't just about being professional, it's about being kind. Clear subject lines, bolded dates, And a direct ask make people feel confident. Please don't make them search for the point. We all know we're barely reading those emails to begin with, right? So you really want to be very clear. Examples of deadlines and even initial reach out deadline requests. So, like, I always even put my deadline right in the subject line. If you're wanting somebody to reply, say in the subject line, put what the subject is, and reply by this deadline. Again, this goes back to, thinking back when you got a message that wasn't clear. How, what was your feeling? Did you feel lost and confused? You don't want your teammates or your students to feel that way. I sometimes joke, sometimes when we're writing communications, it makes sense to us because we're creating the event, we're creating the communications, but you really need to have someone else look at it that has no idea what you're talking about. Maybe your sister, your aunt, or your whoever you have, say, hey, does this read right? Would you know what to do if you got this email? And then there's some other tools that we'll get into as well. Any questions with this? And everyone doing some bold deadlines in their emails? I hope so. Okay, so another thing that can help you, and I'm going to premise this. I understand that AI is a hot topic. Some of you might be like, yay, AI! Some of you might be like, boo, AI. This is no way. I'm not telling you to yes or no. I'm just showing you the things, the tools that it can help you with. So using AI is a newer tool. And one thing I must say is always check with your university's AI policies. For example, WSU supports our staff and faculty using AI for operations, but they want us to use Copilot because we are a Microsoft university. And so we just have to use a certain one. So just always make sure you're aware of what policies that you have in place. So drop in the chat. I'm just curious because I like to know where we're feeling with things. Anybody like AI, use AI, or are we no AI? I love to just kind of know where your thoughts are. You can share if you'd like in chat or not. They can be a tool. That's what I want to be. It's a tool. It can help with tone or clarity. So sometimes I'm going to admit, I've had an email that someone came my way, that came in my inbox, and I was like, wow, this person is really frustrated. And now I'm frustrated and I'm angry, and I don't know how to answer this email without having my emotion just really shine through. So I would write my email with my big emotions, and then I would tell AI, ChatGPT or Copilot, whoever, say, hey, I do not want to send this tone. I need to be very much more nice. I need to be more professional. Please help me respond to this person or whatever accordingly. And actually, it's really nice. Like, I'm so sorry, Andrea, that you're in this situation. Yes, of course, I will help you. It like adds in little things, but then it provides an email with a good tone. Now, you can also still check in with your advisor. Hey, does this tone sound all right? Or your fellow VP or anybody else. So you can either check with AI or check with another person, but definitely have somebody checking your tone and clarity when you are sending emails. I also like it to, AI is very helpful with agenda structures, creating that template. So you can even just use that just for templates. So you're really not asking it to do your work. Again, you're just using it as a tool. And so that's the biggest thing. And always check it. It makes mistakes just like a human would make mistakes. So you're also just going to check its work. I will say, my student government, we all have our meetings on Zoom. We're not in person, so we have it on Zoom. They really appreciate the Zoom summary feature because it will summarize your entire meeting and send an email out to you and your attendees. Now, we have policies at our institution on using that as well. We have to double check that that is correct before it actually gets sent out. And we have to make an announcement before the meeting starts, letting everyone know that it is being recorded and monitored. So again, just recognizing where your policy guidelines are and then utilizing it how it might help you, again, as a tool, not a replacement or anything like that. Does anyone have any thoughts or anything? I know AI can be a really hot topic. So does anyone want to have anything they want to say on this? And we are doing great on time. So please, if you're like, I really love this, or I really hate this, or whatever, feel free to share. Okay. Okay. Nobody wants to talk about it. I know it's a scary subject. It can be. Um, so yeah, again, it can be a good tool. You use this in the same way. Nice, Caitlin. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. So again, a tool. You're not saying it's going to replace anything or anybody, but it can definitely help you. Even when you're just like, oh my gosh, I just don't know how to respond. I also, when those communications, I say, hey, would this make sense to a student? And it will say, no, you're missing the location. Where does the student go? And so it'll just tell you what information you're missing too. So again, okay, I'm going to move forward. Deadlines matter. So deadlines aren't just administration. They are how your student government actually shows respect. One of the biggest disconnects I've seen is when students say, no one takes us seriously. But if you're not meeting your own timelines, then how are others going to meet their timeline and how are they going to take you seriously, right? So you need to think, I always tell my students, think of your deadlines like assignments. We're all students. We all got that assignment due at 11:59 on Sunday or whatever time frame it is. And so do the same with your students, do the same with your teammates. Treat the deadlines as assignments. And then I also like to put it on my calendar. And I have a whole slide just for that. So what I will do in our shared calendars, I will go and put the deadline for this flyer is on March 7th, and I will invite everyone that has a hand in that deadline that needs to make sure it's done. It's not a meeting. No one needs to show up, but it's on our calendar as a deadline to remind everybody. We use that so much. That is so helpful because then also you have that, your calendar shows up and you're like, oh, tomorrow's the deadline. Then you can even send a reminder. Hey, Jessica, I see that the deadline's tomorrow. We're good, right? We're on track. And so that even reminds you. I do this also with emails. When you send out an email to maybe administration or the university president or somebody, and you're like, I need to make sure I follow up, make sure they replied back to me. Put that on your calendar. Follow back up. If you put a deadline on that email for them to reply back to you, put that on your calendar so you remember, oh, yeah, I asked so and so to get back to me by this day. My calendar is crazy because it's full of all my events and meetings that I have to attend. And then you have all the spaces color coded with all these deadlines and different things. But everyone knows what to expect and they know what's coming up. And I don't forget, oh, yeah, so and so was supposed to do that. And so it's very, very helpful. Anyone else have any questions on this? Has anyone shared any deadlines on a calendar before yet? Is this like, oh, wait, I didn't even think about that. So yeah, I definitely suggest this. We've even done this, and as advisors, I will even make sure at the beginning of the year, I put no school, no work days, because it never fails. My students always schedule an event on a day we have no school. Oh, wait, that's spring break. Y'all don't have to work. Don't schedule that. So I even make sure our calendars are big with the don't work on these days. So definitely utilize those calendars. Okay. So communication is more than committees. So student governments can't do it all, and they shouldn't. So when you partner with others, you can expand your impact and simplify your communication, and that is a win-win. So for example, maybe you're planning a wellness week with student health. Or you can get your club chairs to plug in and share your student government calendar and events. It's all about collaboration, about that teamwork. And that is really big and what we really focus on at Global Campus. Our student government is not doing it all on their own. They have club leaders that connect with them and let them know what's happening inside their clubs, the things that they're hearing. They go back and tell student government. Student government makes sure that they have members that go into those club spaces and that they're there. They make events together. They really show our students that we're working together for you. And then when you are working together, it's less work that you all have to do. I will say sometimes it can feel like herding cats, but with proper communication and deadlines and all of those clear expectations, it can be done and it can be very successful. We partner all the time at Global Campus. Does anyone have any questions on this? I hope people are already partnering. Do you all have partnerships already? Everybody already saying, I see some heads nodding. So hopefully you are partnering. And don't exclude anyone. You would be surprised how many departments are just anxious to work with students. Really, like even our alumni association, they are always excited to partner with our student government. Yeah, Caitlin, go ahead.
Didn't want to cut you off. Um, but yeah, for clubs, what are different ways you and everyone here really partners with clubs? Club do not have to go to student government to request funds. They have a different way to manage funds and levels. So we do have a small dotted line to clubs, but I feel like we could be utilizing them a lot more. And then asking them to come to our meetings seems like a lot because of everything else I already have to do. So I know that is an option and get them involved to every Thursday meeting that we have. But yeah, how is everybody else including clubs?
Yeah, that is a great question, and that can be very hard. And please, anybody share in chat or raise your hand if you want to share what you do. So our student government. Yeah, so they at first at the beginning of the year, they try to encourage every director if they had an interest in a club to join that club so that they were in those spaces already. So that was something that they asked for. We also utilize a lot of Teams chats in which a lot of our different students are in there. So if conversations are happening, our student government is aware of those conversations as well. They also Okay, I don't know how easy this can be at other campuses. We have an involvement platform in which that's where our students come and find all of our events, our clubs, and things of that nature. On that platform, we can actually set up what we've called involvement points. And so students that we've actually assigned a point system to things like joining a club, attending a club meeting, filling out a form, filling out a survey form, we've attached points to everything, and then we have a swag store, if you will, that they can purchase swag with their points. And a fun little fact, WSU makes canned cheese. And yes, that sounds funny. It's called Cougar Gold cheese. It's in this big round can. It's usually costs about 30 bucks. It's a pretty expensive can of cheese. And everyone wants it. So we've now put that on our swag store, and now students are showing up in the most random of meetings and event spaces. They're attending all of our student government meetings and putting in their chat cheese points, cheese points, cheese points. That's all they want is cheese points. They don't even call it involvement points anymore. Now they're calling it cheese points. So that has been super helpful for us, and an incentive. And I will always say an incentive definitely helps. We used to do straight incentives where you show up and we'll mail you something. But that ended up having a financial aid implication. And so we didn't want to negatively impact any financial aid. And so we went more to this point system. And it has been really it's worked out really well for us. We have a really engaged bunch of students this year. The platform is called Presence, is what the platform is called. I think it first started as Involve, but I think its name now is Presence. So yeah,
Yeah, we use that as well, and we use points, but the points aren't going anywhere. And I don't think students know about them. And so that's kind of our where we're struggling with the points. We have them, we get them set up, people are collecting them. A handful of students know about it and come in and get them. So I think advertising the points to students is our pain point.
I think so too. And I'm going to admit, it took us about a couple years. Our point
Okay.
system did not take off right away. It
Yeah.
definitely took us, yes, promoting it, letting people know. We have a video right there when you go to the Involve Home channel. It says how to engage and involve, earn points. And so we have a video right there to try to get them to want to earn points. Um, we are now in the middle trying to jump on this cheese train and make a video of a cheese points video to just really monopolize over their excitement over that. But yes, it is all about that communication and marketing, and then having that buy-in on what they want. Because again, when it was just random swag, they were like, eh. But then when we added this cheese, when we added this item, then it was like game over. They really wanted it. So maybe too, just kind of listening to what is the flag before cheese. The flag was the big one because the flag is at game day, every game day. Old Crimson is there. So this was our first try to get and then cheese, and actually this now is still catching fire, and I'll share this idea with you. They want to start incorporating patches, club patches, and so when you join a club then you can add your patch to the flag. I don't know if that's another way. So we're constantly listening to student feedback, hearing from them what do you want, because that's how you're going to get student buy-in, is really just listening to what they want and what excites them. Yeah, this is great.
Can I
Okay,
ask a
so
question to what you just said?
yeah, of course.
So, how do you get student feedback all the time? And how do you put the question out there instead of just like a tell us what you want? Like, how do you get them to respond to a certain question?
Yes. So like I said, we have lots of feedback forms on Involve. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. We constantly are putting those out at events. Hey, let us know. We're having our student ambassadors or our club leaders ask those questions. Tell us more. Right, our student government hosts town halls. We have our fall town hall and our spring town hall in which we get student feedback. They also, so our student government used to do office hours, virtual office hours, but no one would show up. Yeah, why would you want to show up to a virtual office hour? So they just have a form. So now instead they say, hey, we want to hear, here's a form, tell us more. And so they have a direct line, and students have been using that. And then we've also just created a student senate committee to now address all these issues. Okay, these students are bringing these concerns. Which ones do we need to now validate and take to leadership, and how does that look? And so again, Caitlin, it's been years in the building. I feel like it's a foundation of continuously building, and it's just this year really has taken off.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Great questions. Love it. Anyone else? Okay, so we're almost done. Look at us. So I'm going to do one more poll. Let's just see where everyone is. Perfect. Okay, so how are you feeling about your team's communication setup? Are you feeling confident and organized? Mostly working, but needs improvement. Somewhat overwhelmed. I'm not sure where to start. Okay. Hey, that's so far mostly working and needs improvement. I love that. That's how I am all the time. Like I said, feedback. I grow so much from feedback. Every time I do something, it's like, oh, where was my challenges? Okay, that's feedback to improve next time. So I love that everyone is here. Not everyone's answered this yet, but I think I'm going to go ahead and end this poll. I love that you all are recognizing that you're mostly working, but you can have some improvements. We can all make some improvements. So here, just to share that, everyone, 100% right there. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, culture, it's about the culture you're creating. And that's not happening when no one's looking. That's you normalizing it. That's where I was saying this is years of building a foundation of ASW of our ASWCG passing down notes to the next team of what worked and didn't work. That's a huge one is make sure your transition materials because you want to set them up on the right foot. So if you learn, hey, this communication method rocks. You should totally use that. Use that more. Also, something I haven't touched on yet, and here I can go to this one. We actually, so we're always trying to find where the students are. So Canvas, I saw someone maybe mention that they're in Canvas space. We just got permission to start an announcement section in Canvas for student involvement that our students can opt in at. So we are really excited to explore that because as an online institution, we can't just walk into a classroom and say, hey, we think you should join student government. So we're really excited to be able to be put into the Canvas space where the students are going every day to check their assignments and stuff like that. So really think about that. Where are our students? And go to them. Don't expect them to come to you. Find a way to go to them. And yeah, sometimes that's extra work. That means you've got to go attend another club meeting or something like that. But I promise you, it'll be worth it to make those connections. Okay, so we've covered a lot. I hope I have sparked some ideas. This PDF that I am showing right now is in your handouts, so you are welcome to download that. Let's see. One more piece of advice that I hear year after year is when you do reach out about issues or challenges to your leadership, please make sure to include at least two possible solutions. I hear that so many times. Leadership wants to hear what the issues are, they want to hear where the challenges are, but they want to hear what you think the solution might be. If you go to a leadership with a couple of options of a solution, you're going to up your odds of getting a reply and them saying, hey, I like option two that you offered. Let's go with that. Rather than if you just say, hey, this is the problem and issue. What now? That email might just sit there for a minute because that leadership doesn't know. They just came to that problem. You just brought that to them. They don't know anything. So now you're making them what's the solution? I don't know. Let me think about that for a minute. And so then that's going to take a little bit more extra time in your timeline. So definitely make sure you're coming with those solutions or options. And then another thing that I hear all the time, and this is so true, it is what you put into it. So again, with that extra work, you're going to get out of this what you put into it. And that goes for everything. That goes for you as a student, personally into your degree program. That's you as a student leader into this position. What you put into is what you're going to get out of that. And so, and you, I'm sure you see that amongst your team. You're like, man, Jessica, she just doesn't put a lot through. She got really a lot of things going on and not a lot comes from her. But then, man, Tommy, he is just putting all in all the work and look at all this stuff coming from. And so I'm not saying that you need to do a lot, but just when you're like, I'm not seeing a lot of effort, how much effort are you putting into? So just always remember, you're going to get what you put into it. I've seen that year after year. Okay, y'all, I am at my last slide. So thank you so much today. We do have a few more minutes. We have 15 minutes. Look at me go. I saved us 15 minutes. So if we have any questions or anything, I am so happy to take that time and answer. Like I said, I have been doing this for over 6 years now. So test me. Try to see what ideas I have. Use them. I want you to benefit from anything I've done. And if you don't have questions, you're welcome to have a few 15 minutes before your next workshop. But I am here for you. Nothing?
I didn't want to take over the voice over here. But if no one else has a question, you mentioned you had, what did you call it? I think it's a nudge. We have presents as well. Do you have nudges and that's how you get questions or survey students, or you just use the forms in
We just
presents?
use the forms. And on that home page that I was saying where we have the video that says earn points, how to engage, we say, are you looking to earn more points? Check out some of these surveys and feedback forms. And so we just have it right then and there. Because again, with online, I think maybe any students, those asynchronous opportunities to engage, they're good. They're some students really like that because they maybe they're introverts or maybe they're shy or whatever. They're busy and they're only up at 1 o'clock at night. And so having an asynchronous way to get feedback from your students is a great way to do that.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. And also, whenever we do an event, we have the end of event form as well. So we'll always get feedback. Did you like this type of workshop? Would you want to see this type of workshop again? So we do that as well. Yeah. Because of us all SNA fee funded, we really try hard to listen to our students and do whatever it is that our students are wanting from our campus. And I will say, just a little toot our horn, we have been very successful with our SNA fees. We have, over the last 5 years, continuously reduced our fees for our students as well as increased our offerings. So we've just been very creative and collaborate with people to save money costs and things of that nature. And yeah, so we're really excited about that. So I feel like that needs to be another workshop, SNA fee and SNA fee budgets. So good luck to any of you that have to deal with that. I know that's a hard piece of your job. Yeah, Kaylin, yeah.
What are some questions that you have had on like your feedback forms that you feel like have been the most valuable to you?
Questions that people have asked me.
Or like are you putting like on your feedback forms, are you putting certain questions that you want answered or
Oh
like what
yeah.
do you
Oh,
think
I
have
see.
been
Yeah. We
one good
try
good
not
answers?
to lead students. 100%, like saying like, what do you think is wrong with your campus? Like we don't want to do those words, right? And so we are very mindful of like, what would you like to share about your experience? Things like that. We have a team, we have staff members that are very much trained in surveys and love that kind of thing. So we also are very fortunate to have them review it and say, hey, are we being biased or are we leading with any of these questions? And so they also help us with that. I'm not gonna lie, we don't have those reviewed all the time though. So I'm sure if I went in there, some of our surveys that are created by students might be a little leading, but we do try very hard to be very non-biased with our questions. And it really is, yeah, just share your experience is a good way to start without saying a negative or a positive, right? I hope that helps. Um, and I could probably, and that's a great question. So next time I do this, I'll have a couple of our forms as an example too that I can pull up as well. Um, Anything else?
Question. When you have a topic that students wants feedback on, not just general, hey, tell us what you're about your experience, but you want feedback on a certain thing,
Mm-hmm.
certain topic, and you don't get a lot of feedback, how do your students move forward with making informed decisions based on data?
Yeah, that is a great question. And sometimes that's when those things might get put on hold. There and where you're like, in this school year, this was a concern, but when we were looking for data or students at this school year, we couldn't find any. And so we will continue to explore that topic to see if it continues to be a concern moving forward. So sometimes you get that highlight of students raising concern, and then you get that silence, and you're like, is it no longer a concern, or are these students just not caring to report it anymore? And so I think it's just keeping that list to not ever forget it, but to go back and make sure, was that solved or was that just dropped? And so it's always good to go back. And I will be honest and transparent, our student government this year, because this has been our first year of such influx of feedback, they are actually working with our leadership, our chancellor and our vice chancellor, on the best process to provide up that information that they've received. So hopefully next time I teach this, I'll even have that of like, look what works. We found a process of even sharing it with our leadership. But I will say our town hall that we had this fall showed so much engagement of our students and really wanting to know what was going on in our campus and really wanting to share, that it has opened the eyes of so many people that now we're even thinking of an assessments and data points um, to really target and see what we are doing right over here or wrong, or where we need to have growth over here, because there's just so much going on and we're like, wow, we need to document all of this. So as I get more and what's working, I will make sure I come back to share. But right now it's just always keeping those topics on mind and coming back to them when they're raised again. Okay, everybody, I see everyone slowly going out, and that's fine. You've got other events to go to, so I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and you learned at least a couple of things today so far. So good luck, everybody. Bye.